And thus we continue on with our tour. We're off to Stratford now, so a bit of a longish walk, so you're going to have to be in it to win it with this one. Might be your cup of tea, might not. Pick up a lot of changes and things on the way, and some old haunts that quite a few of you will probably recognise. If I point up, down, or to one side particularly, it's because there's people around. So just bear with me on this one. We're off to St John's Church in Stratford now. That's our next location for the day, if it's open. If not, then we'll get an exterior tour of a pretty amazing church actually. A real Victorian piece de resistance, should we say. They knew how to bloody well build, the Victorians, particularly when they were allowed to build Gothic. I've said it before, let the Victorians loose on a bit of Gothic and they did it well. Unfortunately, sometimes they tried to Gothicify, that's a new word I've invented, things that weren't intended or built to be Gothic, so they ballsed up with quite a few things. I'll pause you on crossing roads and things like that or whatnot, because unless I can just walk straight over, of course, because it won't be the most interesting sight in the world for you. Right, we're over to there now. There's a load of kids over there, but there's the Victoria Tavern, and now I shall point away. And we're straight over the road. And that's Clegg Street going down that way, so you could go off to Forest Gate that way. As I say, our port of call today is Stratford. I'm pointing you this way because there's a load of kids. We'll get a better view of the Victoria Tavern in a sec. Right now. Victoria Tavern. And when I was a little boy, when me and my nan went this way, on the bus or whatnot, I used to say, oh, the licorice all sort block, because it reminded me of licorice all sorts, you know, the different layers and colours and that. Simple things and simple minds and all that stuff. We're coming up to the site of where was a pub. It is no longer a pub, it's pulled down, and flatettes or apartments. Most of them have the word luxury thrown into them when they're being put up. You'll see the very great changes coming up to Plaistow Station soon in a minute as well. And you can see it now on the left. The great big tower block, which will be finished soon, and it is enormously tall. I don't know how many stories it is. Obviously while I'm filming I can't stop to count because I need to keep my wits about me. Preferably not get mugged or film anyone that doesn't want to be filmed. We're on High Street, by the way, if you remember in the, or just before the pub video, whatnot, Balaam Street to the Black Line. I couldn't remember where it was. I didn't know if it was Plaistow High Street or the High Street. Well, it's the High Street, E13, so there we are. And this is where a pub was. As you can see now, it is luxury flatettes, called Latin Quarter, E13. Okay. I've known stranger things. Nearly got killed. Oh, that was silly of me, wasn't it? You can go down that way and across the railway bridge and whatnot, but yeah, I nearly got knocked down. See what I mean about filming and trying to pay attention? It's not that easy, you know. So give it a whirl if you wish. And we're going to be coming up to Plaistow train station in a minute. But this lot all on this side is all new. I'll get over to this side, then I can't film anyone then, hopefully. But yeah, this lot's all new, as you can see. And so is this lot. Everything to left and right of me, if you've not been to the area for say 10 or plus years, you won't recognise none of it. Up a road down that way, going down there, Grange Road, Cemetery, Hermit Road. I don't know if I'd make a good tour guide or not, but I don't know. Online I'm great with everyone, but in the flesh I'm not always the greatest people person. I'm like a bit of a natural introvert, or a loner if you want to use the old school term. I like my own company. I know where I am with my own company. People nowadays are all too unpredictable. Here is Plaistow Station. This doesn't change much, apart from losing its steps that used to go down there. Nice little shortcut that was. A lot of women and whatnot, and people who are wary wouldn't go down that way. It was dodgy. It was slightly dodgy. Yeah, look, this lot's all new. Oh dear. And this lot. Over this wall is the little Plaistow cottage. I think I'll be able to hopefully show you it, but I won't be able to see if I've captured it because I'm a short ass. So we'll try. There it is, looking right at it. That's the little Plaistow cottage. That's one of the oldest buildings in Plaistow. It was on one of those Buy My Home type programs a few years back. It's been bought, renovated, and looks very nice inside. But there used to be stairs along here that would take you down that way, and you could walk straight down past the old cottage. Don't know what its name is. But yeah, see if we can get a better view. Oh, there you are. Get a nice-ish view of it. There it is. Willow Lodge, 1836. Don't forget, before the coming of the railways, Plaistow was a little village. It even had a windmill at one point, many, many years ago. So, I shall point you up at the moment because there's a bus stop coming and people. So, you'll get a view of all the new stuff that's going up in around a minute. Very changing area, isn't it? There are still old bits and pieces left, which is namely the station. I can point you this way now. Namely Plaistow Station and All Saints Church. The old Stratford or Plaistow, I think with West Ham Lane Baptist Tabernacle. That's gone, the old building, which was early 20th century. It was a nice old building and it's been replaced with luxury flats, and underneath the bottom bit of it is the Baptist Tabernacle. They were onto an absolute killing. You can't actually blame some people. Their old building was falling to pieces in many regards. They couldn't get the money to fund restoration, so they sold the land on what it was under the agreement that the bottom floor bit would be their Baptist Tabernacle, but we'll see that when we get near it. Yeah, that's where the old the car showroom and that was over there, but that's all gone now. So yeah, very, very different area. We're coming up to what was the Railway Tavern now, but it's a local express little supermarket thing. I don't know how long this walk will be. If it is over half an hour, then I'll have to YouTube it. Try and keep it to under 35 minutes if I can, because then it can go on Facebook. Trouble is, I don't know what it is with Facebook, and a lot of people who live stream or page creators or whatnot have had problems with Facebook's, either with notifications or with video uploads. Mine is notifications. I don't always get all the notifications for all the comments and stuff, so I have to go through things by hand often. And the other thing is, if I upload a video that's more than 35 minutes and 37 seconds long, dead on the 35 minutes and 37 seconds, it mutes the sound. I don't know why, but then you end up with half a video, or if it's a longish video, I mean some of mine are nearly an hour sometimes, You don't want to end up losing all your sound. At Maud Road, and this was the Railway Tavern, and that's Maud Road. Yeah, coming up to, if I get on sort of like that outside bit, then hopefully I won't film too many people. Just point you down a minute. That's better. And you've got flatheads and foliage over here, so we shall look at the foliage or foliage. Thing is with doing this, when you do a page, I'm no angel, absolutely not, but I don't think it's fair to film people without their consent. One, because I wouldn't like it myself, and two, you actually could be endangering someone. If they've left an area and gone into kind of hiding in another area or whatnot, they could be a battered wife, a battered husband, a battered child even. You could endanger those people quite badly. So, yeah, you have to be a bit careful. Children, I'm very strict with. I always do my utmost best not to show them. Some places like the Tower of London, the Abbey, St Paul's, it sometimes can't be helped, and with those places it's pretty much everyone goes there to film and photograph, but if it can be prevented, prevent it. And anyone that saw my videos not long ago of this area, we went to the old West Ham Boys Club, which was being pulled down. It is now completely down and gone, so that's coming up on my right in a minute, so I'll show you that soon. Pretty decent murals along here. This one's new. There's a brilliant one with a leopard and London background, which is further along. I'll show you that one in a minute. Just point you down a sec.
You remember that guy by me?
Gonna have to pause the video. Sorry about that. Cold calling should really be made illegal. That's one of the murals. Cold caller. I have no idea where exactly they were calling from. But it didn't sound like a native born Londoner, put it that way. Goodness gracious me. Oh, that's something I wanted to show you. The coats of arms of Newham. That's the coat of arms of Newham. The colloquial rubbish just dumped everywhere nowadays, you see. That florist, Sewell's, has been there for absolutely years. They're a very, very good florist. Looking back down from where we've come. My nan used to get some of her plants from there for a little bit of garden. She lived in a masonette block like this, and she wanted a bit of garden, so dug her a strip under her back window. The front one was already there, a little bit of garden, so a bit of renovation. Popped the Sewell's, Crisp Street, Romford Market, over to Wicks for some compost, and job was a good one. I loved my old nan. Mum number 2. I have mum number 1, who's my actual mum. God bless her. Mum and dad, and my nan. So I think when I was younger, she was the only one that could probably handle me properly. Oh, Jesus. That young fella that just walked past us, he's smoking weed. Two of the most easiest things to find on the streets of the East End of London nowadays. Weed, discarded chicken and chip shop boxes, 3 things actually, and phlegm. Sorry to be revolting, but that's how it is. This used to be the petrol garage and whatnot there, but it's universal tyre and whatnot repair now. And this is the second mural I was telling you about. Sorry about that. This is the second mural I was telling you about. I've taken a photograph of that one. Let's point you this way. Plaistow Grove. I think it was it down this one? No, I think it's the next road. The Britannia pub, which is just there, that's going to be featuring in my Lost or Abandoned Pubs of London series. I normally get 3 pubs together per video, get the footage or photos from nowadays, take you back to how it was years ago, bit of the history. I've got 2 at the moment. I've got that one in Manor Park, and they're easy enough to find. Just picking one that I like the look of, or that I find interesting. T Cribs and Sons over the road, they're everywhere. I'll just point you this way a minute because there's a fellow at the bus stop. These are fairly newish. I mean, they went up about 8, maybe 10 years ago, maybe not that long ago. But I think it used to be a care home there. It's called Soprano Court now. Funny thing is, when I first started doing these on foot tours, I thought, oh, no one's going to enjoy these. And the crazy thing is, some people enjoy them more than the history stuff, like the churches and that. So I try and cater to a bit of everything on the page. And of course, we're documenting change as we go along as well, with all the new stuff going up, old coming down, which is what we're going to be seeing in a minute on this road, I believe. We're on Plaistow Road now. Church Street, yes. This is the one. Right there, where all that rubble is, and that machine is working, that was the West Ham Boys Club. Remember a couple of weeks ago I come and took some photos and footage of it partially being taken down. Well, you can see it's all completely gone now, and they're filling the land ready for building of flatheads. Luxury flats as far as the eye can see before long. To use a Tudor phrase or terminology, we should be housed unto like cattle, packed into our little hutches and boxes and whatnot. Although there's an awful lot I love about London, there's quite a lot I don't like or love about it. It's going to pause you a sec. Off we go. We'll be coming up to another much loved pub soon, and a much loved church. A lot of people love All Saints Church. It is a lovely church. I went on Easter Day and it was packed. Got a nice tour done, but very noisy and very busy. So I'll leave it for a week, like a couple of weeks, a month or so, and then go back and do a quieter tour. It was nice because the atmosphere was nice, very friendly and such like and whatnot, but music being played which you can get copyrighted for, yeah. There's a lot involved in live streaming and things like that, creating things that you might not think about. A bit of music in the background when we just walk past in our everyday lives, or we stop and take a photo. It doesn't affect things, but when you're filming, it can do. Copyright infringement. particularly if it's really copyrighted well and whatnot, so you have to be careful. Manor Road. And that way. We'll get another view of that in a minute. There's a nursery on my right here, so it's a shame because there's a lovely bush there that really smells nice, but I won't show it because you can see the kids through the wire fence. I wouldn't be able to convey the scent anyway. Manor Road. And looking back down from where we've come, or come from, hopefully should be able to get this done with, I don't know, 20 minutes already. When I first started the page on Facebook, I was able to put videos of up to an hour or whatnot, and the sound wasn't affected. I don't know if once you get past a certain amount of followers they limit things, or someone was talking about something called shadow banning. I'll just pause you a sec. That is a man with what my nan would call a ghetto blaster on his bicycle. I've heard worse music played in my time. We're coming up to another nice mural here, and some people think this is a Banksy. It's very good. Sadly, it's been graffitied over, as you can see. This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah, I like this. I shall take a picture of that one. It's very good. They've really got the complete optic and everything of the eye. It's very, very good. It's worthy of being a Banksy. Mr. Freddie Mercury by Cobre. There we are. C-O-B-R-E, and then I can't really make out the end of it, but as you can see, it's not a Banksy, but it is worthy of being a Banksy. Got some amazing young artists really around. All Saints Church, West Ham. Some people don't like graffiti, but some of it I think is out and outright obviously vandalism and done for arseholes' sakery. Like when you do it on oh, there's a rat down there, when you do it on a monument or a memorial or something. But a plain brick wall, especially if you've got the consent of the building owner, which some building owners do now because it draws attention to their building. People might go in and ask about the mural and then maybe spend a few bob while they're in there. Saints Church, you can just see through the trees which are in full bloom. Over here was where the West Ham Baptist Tabernacle was. I'm going to do a then and now on this post with a picture of what it was and what it is now. I really like the old building, but as I say, you can see why it was done. It's fair enough. Just pause you a sec. There we go. Goddard's Veterinary Surgery. But yeah, and the old West Ham Registry Office used to be along here years ago, I believe. Coming up to West Ham Park and that now. Yeah, it was, because Mum and my Dad got married there and they had their wedding photographs taken in the park. But this is the Baptist Tabernacle. As you can see, the bottom bit of it is a Baptist Tabernacle, and above are some flats. And apparently they made a good amount of money on it. Also, I'm told they did some good works with the money that was left over too, so kind of forgive them for the destruction of a lovely old building, especially if it's falling apart and you can't get the funding for it. What do you do? This lot all here are newer. These are, say, last 8 to 10 years or so, and the rooms is within the last couple of years. Very new. fucking hell. Bloke just went past me. Jesus, really like I don't mean to. Not that I'm insulting the man, he's like a Harry Potter look-alike. Fucking hell. Really looked like Harry Potter. Densham Road. Yeah, Densham Road. That'll take you around to the back bit of the church. And the reason that the churchyard is so built up, kind of moated in a way, because of all its mounds and built up, is because of all the plague dead that went into it. West Ham Park on my right, and where the old West Ham Registry Office used to be, just there. An ambulance or a hurry-up wagon just coming along. In the days before ambulances, if someone was taken ill, the call would be send for a shutter. People would send for a shutter and you'd be carried either home, or if there was a local hospital, you'd be carried along there. Then ambulances came along and hospitals. Now we've got two lovely traffic wardens coming up. We shan't film them. They are as tetchy as a beauty losing a... Yeah, that's the room's one. They're as tetchy as a maid that's losing her beauty. Our traffic wardens. Sorry. I point this way to try and keep out of people's way. But you'll see how much Stratford has changed. There's quite a lot of new buildings gone up. But yeah, that's where the register office used to be, over there. And many people who got married there would have their wedding photographs taken in the park. Just in here. Yeah. Right, it's traffic wardens and police. What does one call a gathering of traffic wardens and police? A gaggle of traffic wardens and police? A trouble of traffic wardens and police? A herd or flock of traffic wardens and police? I don't know. Here's West Ham Park. This lovely old pond. That doesn't change over the years. Yeah, I think this will be over 35 minutes, unfortunately. I want to get us just to St John's, and then my target for the day is St John's itself, the church, if it's open. It says on the website that it is, but since COVID you often find that you'll check on the website and you'll go to a place and it's completely other. So it's a case of finding out. Oh God, we've got a local spice rack coming along. Can of white ace, or bottle of white ace. Ooh, yeah, you can smell the spice as well. And you can barely get across the road. I mean, I can't be one to say that I've lived the most virtuous life when it comes to that kind of thing, but I thought I trod in shit. I haven't. Another alleyway that not many people like to use. Whalebone Lane. A lot of these places have their roots set back in deep history, so, or even recent-ish history. Stratford Police Station. And you can see what I mean about the new of Stratford, with all the steel and glass skyscrapers and office blocks and everything that's gone up. This one's nice here with the old copper top, copper roof or dome, whatever you want to call it. this way because there's people coming along. And this is what I mean about all the new, look, steel and glass skyscrapers. They call it Stratford City now. I think that's rather silly. At one point, to be called a city, a place had to have a cathedral, but no doubt they've changed that to fit in with things. Or maybe they haven't, might have just called it Stratford City and changed the St John's Church to a cathedral church, but I don't think it is because it doesn't say so in the title. Training nursery, places staff agency. Now if my nan was alive she'd be able to say, oh yeah, that was the old whatever it is building. So if anyone can tell me what it originally was, I'd be grateful to you. This is all newish. This is Stratford Unitarian Meeting House and Gallery. So, place of worship. What I like is that they kept the, because this is a new one that replaced the old, and they kept the old stones. This stone was laid by Alfred Lawrence Esquire, March the 6th, 1869. Tells you the minister's name, architect, builders. This stone was laid October the 31st, 1885 by Sir J.C. Lawrence, Bart, MP. Is that Baronet? I don't know. Reverend S. Brettle, Minister. I.G. Grace Esquire, Architect. Botlight and Lee, Builders. Anyway, that's like some of the history of the stuff, but yeah. When you come up towards Stratford itself now, it's full of really, really tall kind of high-rise buildings. And a beautiful church, which is our location for today, if it's open. Never tempt fate by doing that, saying yeah, I'll definitely promise you this because I've done that before, and it's like, oh no, it's closed. So, when was the last time you visited the area? Are you shocked by the changes? If so, what shocked you most? You have to be a little bit careful because there's a lot of people around. That was the old Stratford Magistrates Court at one point, that building there. It's all been tied up recently, in recent years. Dead man's fingers and the scape. Can't point too much because there's people coming that way. Sorry about the puddle of vomit. Just happened to point you down a minute because there's a lot of people around. There we go. Yeah, Stratford City, or Stratford Shitty as some of the locals call it, has changed a lot over the years. Hell of a lot. Got the Queen's Head pub, that's still up and going strong. It's nice to see it. It's been renovated and whatnot over the years. Used to be a nice little fish and chip shop next to that at one point. I think we might be able to do it in under the 35 minutes because Stratford St John's is right at the end of this street, and that will be our view and the end of this tour. Used to be a nice little fish and chip, oh it still is, Il Fratelli fish and chip bar and pizzeria. Really nice chips in there. I think this was another pub as well, but not anymore. Stratford City is, for someone that doesn't like crowds and noise and all that kind of stuff, is not the nicest place in the world, but it is what it is. And there is St John's Church, Stratford. Another nice old pub there. And you have to watch now with these multi-way cycle lanes, you could just be killed or mown down, because they can go anyway and every which way but Wednesday. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the tour and join me in the church if it's open.